Hey guys, Rizzo here. I was just about to apologize for my disheveled appearance, but that would perpetuate the insulting notion that for a public address by a female to be acceptable, she has to look conventionally attractive. So we're just gonna skip over that. I'm making this video because I realized that I have videos protesting sources that try to promote the continuation of anorexia or promote people becoming anorexic for the sake of beauty, but I haven't really touched on how to support those who are already suffering. So I'm making this video just for basic information on how to help family, friends, or loved ones who suffer from eating disorders. So just kind of running right off the bat here, just so you guys know, I don't have scripts for these. I just kind of walk around my room and mutter a bit so I know what I'm going to say. So this is all just kind of off the cuffish. Anyway, the first and most important point that a supporter needs to keep in mind is that eating disorders are not about weight. Anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, EDNOS, disordered eating, body dysmorphia. These things start about weight, but when they are actually a mental compulsion, it is not about weight. And I know that that seems counterintuitive, but the issues are so much deeper than that. Because the thing is, if it was about weight, then once the person got to their goal weight, they'd be happy and it would be over and they'd be done. But it's not. And that brings us to our first point, which is, even though I know that it's kind of what you want to do, when somebody has an eating disorder, don't say just eat. Don't tell them if you just eat, everything will be okay. Because the thing is, when people get eating disorders, a lot of times it starts with them thinking that all of their problems stem from the fact that they're not skinny enough. And if they were just skinny enough, if they just lost enough weight, it would fix all their problems. Those of us who are healthy know that that's not true. We know that all your problems won't go away if you just lose weight. So you can't say, conversely, that if you just gain all the weight back, everything will be okay. That's not true. It is important that people who have eating disorders regain a healthy weight or maintain a healthy weight if they haven't lost weight during their eating disorder. But it's not the source to all of the solutions. Kind of continuing on with that, this is another thing that's kind of a first instinct that's wrong. Don't try to force them to eat, or don't try to force them to refrain from binging and purging. And I know that that's hard because you just want them to be healthy and you just want them to stop hurting themselves. But the thing is, once again, starving and binging and purging are just surface indications of a deeper problem. It's kind of like if someone self-mutilates or self-injures or cuts. Yes, you want them to stop cutting, but just taking away all their sharp objects and watching them all the time to make sure that they can't do anything isn't fixing the problem. And actually, I'm not saying that it's okay for someone to starve themselves or to purge, and I'm not saying you should just sit passively by and let it happen, but when someone has a very, very unhealthy relationship with food, and when the idea of engaging with food in a normal, healthy way distresses them, to sit someone down and force them to eat, or to make them eat and then not allow them to purge, can actually be exceedingly traumatic, can be psychologically damaging to them, and it can trigger more unhealthy behavior. So what you have to do is, people get better and then they eat normally. Eating normally does not make someone better. So what you need to do is to tackle the underlying issue before you try to make them have a normal relationship with food. And that takes a long time. So what you can do in the meantime, if you really need to help someone immediately, take their minds off it. A lot of times people with eating disorders or poor body image don't want to go out because it makes them uncomfortable to be in social situations. But if you just say, hey, do you want to come watch a movie with me in my room? Hey, do you want to, sit around and talk? Do you want to just anything? Just take them aside, give them anything other than food to think about. Give them anything other than their body to think about. Just spend time with them, distract them, keep their minds off of it. And that's kind of a quick thing that you can do to just kind of try to alleviate it for a while. But, I'll reiterate again, eating disorders are not about weight. And this brings me to my next point. I have seen a lot of people saying things like, well, I don't think she's skinny enough to have an eating disorder. She's too fat, she can't have an eating disorder. She's too fat, she can't be anorexic. Again, eating disorders are not about weight. If it was about that, it would be called a weight disorder, or a size disorder, or a how long this person has gone without eating disorder, or a how much weight this person has lost disorder. Eating disorders are about an unhealthy relationship with your self-image and with food, not your weight. So please don't assume that someone's appearance speaks of their eating disorder, and don't ever invalidate someone if they say they have a problem. Don't say, I don't think it's actually that bad. Don't say, I don't think you actually have an eating disorder. Maybe in medical terms they do not exactly match the profile for something. But you know what? One of the medical requirements to have anorexia is to have missed 3 consecutive periods. What if you're a male and you have anorexia? Medical terms are not always the best thing to go by. So just support someone no matter what they say they have, no matter what medically they have, no matter what weight they are. If they have a problem with eating, with food, with themselves, you just need to be supportive. Another thing is that, yes, it comes to a point where sometimes you can't do this by yourself. You can't support someone by yourself. And people will, with eating disorders, even if they don't need it right away, will eventually need professional help. They need to see a doctor. They need to have some kind of reconciliation with food and continual professional support. And sometimes you need to do that against their will. And what supporters need to understand is that the second that you check someone into recovery, the second you start getting them serious medical and professional help, they are not going to magically go, oh my goodness, thank you for saving me. Thank you so much for doing this. Now I understand why it was wrong, and now I understand that everything I was doing was unhealthy. That's not how it works. In fact, the person that you're trying to help may get angry with you. They may be very, very upset about what you're doing. And you can't let that change the way that you think about them, and you can't let that change the way you support them, because they are unwell. And it is more important to deal with that person being upset with you for a while and eventually have them recover and understand why you did what you did, than to decide you're not going to do anything because you don't want them to be upset. Finally, people who have an eating disorder will often say that it's a choice, and they'll say, just let me do what I want to do. And it's easy when you don't have an eating disorder and when you don't understand why this person acts like this to think, I can't understand why you're doing this. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to yourself? The thing is, even if someone says it's a choice, eating disorders are not a choice. They are never a choice. Someone may have chosen actions that led to them eventually thinking in a way that caused an eating disorder, but it is never the victim's fault. And furthermore, it's not your fault if you think that you failed to help them. Placing blame does not make anything better, especially on the victim. So just don't ever let yourself get caught in the trap of thinking that people who have eating disorders choose to act this way. This video is getting pretty long, so I'm just going to wrap up by saying that, honestly, the most integral thing that you can do is the simplest, and that's just to be there. It hurts to be a supporter. It's hard. It's really, really difficult to watch people go through things and not be able to have instant results, instant health, instant recovery. But people who suffer from eating disorders need you. They need you to be there and to validate them and to tell them that you support them, that they matter, that they're worth so much, and that they're beautiful. And you would not believe how much it means for someone if you are even just one person who cares about them. It makes an enormous difference. So, I hope this helps. I have a new Tumblr for all of my anti-pro-ana and ED support stuff, and that's beautyhasnobmi.tumblr.com. I've put the link in the description. If you guys have a Tumblr, I would really appreciate some feedback and stuff. If not, I suggest you get one because Tumblr is kind of cool. Anyway, whoa, God, Jesus Christ, 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you for listening, and I really hope this helps somebody out there. Okay, thanks.